Hey, what's up, Pewter peeps? It is the Pewter Cast, your favorite. You know what? I don't even have to say it. You already know why you're here. You're here for Bucks talk. You're here for.
Plus, it may not be true.
Well, it is your. It's my favorite. I'll tell you that much.
It's my favorite. So
Yeah,
there's two. As everybody
right.
in the universe.
That's right. And we're the only two people that count. So that's Ren. I'm Steve Carney. It's great to have you here. I just want to get right into it because it's been.
Are we talking about lightning? The lightning?
No,
finishing out the series with the Panthers.
I'm not getting into that.
No,
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about
Rays.
I don't want to talk
Rays
about that.
Rays have won like 15 in a row.
13 to 14. But 13. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about that either. I want to talk. I want to talk about the Bucks OTAs. I want to talk about everything that's gone on this week. There's some crazy ish that has happened. Some good stuff, some weird stuff, some stuff that doesn't affect the Bucks, but it could affect the Bucks. I mean, there's some stuff in here that we'll talk about this week that I think will interest Bucks fans immensely, and especially the thing that's coming from outside that could be real interesting. But how was your week? Because it's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been about a week. I think a little longer, maybe 10 days. I don't know. Cheryl had surgery on her wrist. Yeah, she just had kind of like a little, I don't know, like, you know how everyone has that bone in their wrist that's that little ball at one end?
Mm-hmm.
She kind of has like that, but it's on the other side and a little further up.
Okay.
And it's always just kind of bothered her. So, you know.
Oh, it's like a little calcium deposit.
I don't know. But yeah. So went in and had that done. So I've been playing the doting boyfriend.
There you go.
Doing everything for her and stuff. But she's fine. It was like she was in and out. I think like 3 hours total from when I dropped her off to when I picked her up. They wouldn't let me stay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me stay. So, but yeah, so that's been about it, really. That and trying to keep my oh god, I was gonna say Icarus plant, but that's not true. My crepe myrtle alive with this drought. They're like twice a day dumping like 5 gallons of water on my crepe myrtle. But yeah, that's it. You?
I mean, I can probably help you with that plant. If I go out and wash my car tomorrow, I'm sure that like it'll rain like the next like 15 days in a row. So
there you go.
You'll be
so
all right.
You're to blame for the drought.
I'm to blame. I'm to blame for the drought. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
And if you go to a car wash and pay for it, it'll rain for like 2 days.
It'll rain for 2 weeks if that happens. Just because that's how it normally works for me. Like I get so sick of my car. I'll go, no, I'm going to wait for it to rain. I'm going to wait for it to rain. And then it never rains. And then I take it to the car wash and I wash it myself or I run it through the car wash and guaranteed it will rain that afternoon. And I'm going to be so pissed off when it happens. I had a really freaking good week. I mean, on top of, you talked about the Lightning and the Rays and all that good stuff. But if you're watching on YouTube, or at thepewtercast.com, I'm going to hold something up, something that I have been waiting 6 months for.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes.
I got my PS5. It's sitting still in its box because I just got back
from the box.
I haven't had a chance to even pull it out of the box. I got home from work probably around 7:30 this evening. And so right now, one of my cats, Smokey, is sitting on the box, making sure that nobody takes it, which is very nice of her.
Smokey have a drug habit?
Smokey does not have a drug habit, but she got named because my other cat is Bandit. So, and he does look like he's wearing like a bandit mask. So, so she just became Smokey for Smokey and the Bandit.
Somebody had to be who's Snowman?
Me, because I'm shaped like a snowman.
You're the singer of the family.
I'm the snowman because I'm shaped like a snowman.
Okay.
And the other thing
I would have pegged you for Fred.
No, that's my wife. That's Emily. Emily is Fred.
Frog.
Frog. No, Emily's Frog.
Fred's the basset hound.
Yeah, Fred's the basset hound. That's right.
Wow. Ooh, oh,
That's
God,
right. No. Emily is Frog.
Gotcha. Yes.
I might be Fred. I might be Junior. Actually.
Oh, Junior, nice.
Now we're really getting it. And I got another present.
I hope everyone
today
who's listening to this and watching has seen Smokey and the Bandit.
Please,
and can at least a few references that
if you
we're making.
If you haven't seen Smokey and the Bandit, what in the world is wrong with you? It's maybe the funniest movie that Burt Reynolds has ever put out, and it's got Jackie Gleason in it, which makes
it funny.
It makes it even better. The best part is I guarantee you that Jackie Gleason improv'd all of his lines. I guarantee you.
Okay.
So
I want to take that bet, but I feel he probably improv a lot of them. I've probably seen Smokey and the Bandit 100 times. We were one of the first people, and I'm not like we were one of the first people in the United States to have VCR, but we were. Like no one knew what they were when we got one. My dad had a tech friend who, hey Kyle, good to see you, man. My dad had a tech friend who had this thing called a VCR, and my dad's like, what? Like, huh? What is this? And he showed it to him. So my dad bought one. And these things, this is back before when VCRs hit $199, like that's when everyone bought one. We had a VCR 3 years before that.
Was it a VHS or a beta? My dad had a beta.
Oh, well, I had most of my movies at one time were in HD, not Blu-ray. So what are you gonna do?
HD DVD.
Hey, remember that? Yeah, Microsoft PS. Speaking of PlayStation, the big battle that didn't last long. But and we had like 6 movies, and one of them we had Star Wars, so I've seen that about a gazillion times.
Yeah.
But the other one that we watched a lot was Smokey and the Bandit, and so I've seen that movie about 100 times. Had Joe Klecko in it, New York Jets defensive line fame.
It's a great movie. I like
it.
If you haven't seen it, it is quintessential. I mean, it doesn't really hold up because they're talking about shipping.
You can't say that stuff anymore.
Well, you certainly can't say a lot of that stuff anymore. But the whole thing about shipping, bootlegging beer, shipping cores east of Texas, and CB radio lingo really doesn't hold up. It's very late 70s, early 80s, but it's just so funny. And Sally Field is so hot in that movie.
Junior, the first thing I'm going to do when I get home is punch your mama right in the mouth.
I refuse to believe that you come from my loins.
There's no way you come from my loins.
Oh my God. Put the evidence in the back. That door is evidence. Valuable evidence.
All right, let's reel it in here.
Oh my God.
How do we even get started talking about Smokey and the Bandit?
My cats.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Your drug addicted cat.
My drug addicted cat is
Smokey.
She was sitting on my on the box, the Amazon box that my PlayStation 5 is in. Yeah,
she had to go get it fixed.
That's right. She had to go get a fix. So she is off. She is off the box, and so hopefully when this gets done, I can start unboxing this. I got tomorrow off, which is amazing in this line of work. That I don't have to do anything tomorrow, so I'm going to be playing PlayStation a lot. Sorry, hon. My wife is sitting over there on the couch, like right there, and so she's gonna have to deal with me playing MLB The Show probably for 8 to 10 hours tomorrow, and so too bad for her. Are you
gonna do any prep work before you? Like, are you gonna take a shower and maybe do a little prep before you sit down for 8 hours to play the show?
Maybe. I've got food. I've got beer. I can have liquid lunch. So I think I'm all right.
Maybe you want to prep a little further down. Make sure they all The tweaks and berries are all nice and looking sharp for your brand new PS5.
I'm not. I would never used my Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 on the Twig and Berries before a PlayStation session. But what I will do is make sure that it gets used for when I take my wife out to dinner Friday night, which
bribe her with food.
Exactly. Definitely have to bribe her with food. And that is a great transition by Ren, because this episode of the Petercast is sponsored in part by Manscaped. I'm not going to tell you the story of my coworker in the Navy and what he used to do to try and keep his nether regions in check. You have to go back a couple of weeks on the Petercast if you really want to listen to that. But what I will tell you is, if you are using the same instrument down there that you use on your face, well, first off, if you're using the exact same one, ew. But if you're using the same type of equipment down there as you use up here on your face, you're doing the wrong thing. Go to Manscaped, get yourself the brand new lawnmower version 4.0. You're talking about an improved ceramic blade, you're talking about longer battery life, you're talking about wireless charging, and a light on it, so you don't have to worry about, hey, is that hair or is that a shadow? You'll know for sure that that's hair, and you can get hooked up with some money off, if you know what I mean. You get a discount from us here at the Petercast if you go to manscaped.com and use the promo code FANSIDED20. You get 20% off of your order and free shipping. It's well worth it. Trust me. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code FANSIDED20 to get 20% off your order and free shipping. They got all this other stuff too, all these bombs and ball deodorants. It's quite the selection that they have from Manscaped. Again, manscaped.com, promo code FANSIDED20 for 20% off of your order and free shipping. When we come back, we've got there's definitely going to be some debate going on here next about something that Tom Brady is doing right now. Well, maybe not right this very second, but he's doing it now. And we think that that's not the right thing for the leader of the Buccaneers to do. And we'll talk about it here next on the Petercast. So OTAs are underway at the Advent Health Training Center. And, with OTAs, we know that there's no starters. That's all the
None
rookies.
Of the starters showed.
Yeah, no, it's all rookies. It's second-year guys. It's guys like Giovanni Bernard who want extra time to learn the playbook and to be around the coaching staff and to figure out what the hell you do. Where do you go at the Advent Health Training Center? A lot of these guys may have only been in the building for, a time or two, and they want to figure out exactly what's going on there. So they're using this OTAs as that opportunity. That's why you've got some of the veterans there, but none of the starters. But we found out this week that while the starters aren't at the Advent Health Training Center, they are still working out. They're just not working out at the facility. Instead, Tom Brady has them over at Steinbrenner Field, which is about 3 blocks from the Advent Health Training Center. Down MLK and
right across the street from Raymond James Stadium.
But that's where they've been working out here while OTAs are going on.
Right. Which is it's weird. And okay, so let me set up the backstory here. So I guess we should start when Tom Brady jumped on that conference call with the NFL Players Association talking about, we didn't have OTAs last year, everything was fine. Why are we coming in the middle of the season and basically going full speed, 3 months before we actually should have to go speed, 2 months before, training camp starts. They don't ask pitchers or hockey players to come in the middle of their off season and prove that, they're not fat. Basically kind of why OTA sort of started was okay, how bad of shape are you guys right now? But since it's so much more money and, players stay in shape year round, all that type of thing, they're kind of not necessary. And that was kind of Tom Brady's point. But then we saw, I believe it was a Denver Broncos player. He was an offensive lineman that was.
Oh, that would be Quinn Miners.
No.
You're talking about with the belly, with the gut out?
No. I'm talking about the guy that got hurt and then the Broncos cut him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
fat guys.
There's a rule. And yeah, that's true. There's a rule in the CBA that if you work out on your own, not, at the training center, and you get hurt, then your contract becomes not guaranteed anymore, even if it was before. They can cut you with no penalty. Last year was a little different because facilities were closed and you weren't allowed to practice there because of COVID. But this player for the Broncos, who's kind of been disappointed, but had a $10 million salary hit, blew his knee out, and Denver cut him. So now we'll fast forward to Tom Brady with Justin Watson and Cameron Brate, and who else was out there catching passes from Tom? Scotty Miller was there.
Wasn't Chris Godwin? Didn't I see something about Keyshawn Vaughn maybe being out there?
Gio Bernard was there. I don't remember if Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn was there. Chris Godwin was there. So basically, they're out there. What he did at Berkeley Prep, and by he I mean Tom Brady, with the guys. When they couldn't go to the facility, they decided to do it at Steinbrenner Field, which we said is literally like I could drive a golf ball from Steinbrenner Field, center field, and hit the building of Advent Training. What is it? Tampa Bay
Advent Health Training Center.
Advent Health Training Center.
Took me 3 years to get that out of Ronnie Lane's mouth.
So, but I mean, the concrete needs to stay there. I can't hit a ball 1,000 yards, but I can hit it like 800 if it keeps bouncing down, the parking lot.
Yeah. So it's bouncing down MLK.
Yeah. It's not really that far. Like it's a 10-minute walk. Like seriously,
it's 3 blocks. It's literally 3 stoplights from Dale Mabry. You've got one at Dale Mabry, you've got one at Himes, and you've got one in front of the building. That's
which you don't have to stop for because you're pulling in. Yeah. That's how close it is. So, but Bruce Arians has gone on record and told many people that he has told Tom Brady and other players that, hey, if you want to work out, come work out here. The facility is open. That way, if you blow out a knee, then you still get paid. Like you get put on IR, or it depends how bad it is. But as bad as a Denver Broncos player was, he was going to miss the whole season. So Denver cut him and saved $10 million.
Well, it's because not practicing in the facility, you can go on the reserve NFI list. You can be like, who was the guy that got put on NFI because he was playing basketball and tore his Achilles or blew out his knee.
Shaquille O'Neal?
No, not Shaquille O'Neal. No, it was the kicker.
Our kicker?
Yes.
Bryant? Brenza?
No, not Kyle Brenza.
Aguayo.
Not Matt Bryant. Not Aguayo. No, not Folk. Oh, now it's.
Are we bringing the show to a screeching halt?
We're bringing the show to a screeching halt for this. No, Connor Barth.
Okay, Connor Barth. Thank you.
Connor Barth I forget if he tore his ACL or tore his Achilles, but he missed a year, and the Bucs didn't have to pay him because he got put on the NFI list.
Right. And this is the same thing that's going on at Steinbrenner Field that Brady's doing when he has an open invitation. Now, Brady, I put in the show, it's like, Brady could learn from Icarus and needs to study his Icarus. I'm not exactly sure what it means. The story of Icarus was They're trying to escape his labyrinth. His dad, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his dad's
Daedalus.
Daedalus thing. Really? Daedalus. What is that from? Daedalus. Feels like a Terminator term.
No, there was a
what is Daedalus?
Daedalus, Daedalus.
Is that
I almost want to say I remember it from
Bourne? Bourne.
Yeah, I remember. I forget if it was from one of the Bourne movies or
Blackstone, Daedalus. Anyway,
it's from one of those type of movies though. But yeah.
So Daedalus, his dad, gives Icarus these wings, which he made of feathers and wax, and told him, it was like don't fly too high, don't fly too low. You fly too low, feathers are going to get wet in the ocean, and your wings are going to fall apart. If you fly too high, close the sun, the wax is going to melt, and your wings are going to fall apart. Well, Icarus basically said, "Oh, I know what I'm doing. Don't
Dad doesn't know.
Dad doesn't know. They're my wings." So he flew too close to the sun.
Ski Dad, I'm going to the sun.
And he went to the sun. His wings melted. They fell off. He fell in the ocean and drowned. And that's what I'm talking about. Tom Brady, he's first off the Bucs. The Icarus part is the Bucs have told him he can play as long as they want to. Also, they're giving him wings as into, hey, practice here because we're giving you protection. Here is a way out of a situation that could hurt. Now, if Brady blows his knee out and misses a year, the Bucs aren't going to cut him. But I definitely can't say the same thing for Justin Watson, who, by the way, probably is not going to make the team. I can't say the same for Keyshawn Vaughn, who, has 20 touches with 3 fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
or Cameron Brate, who just renegotiated, who just had to take a pay cut.
Yeah, he went in 2 years, he's gone from 12 million to 3. Like, he's been cut twice. So it's not so much Tom Brady, it's Tom Brady. Is he just being stubborn because of the call he made to the NFLPA that he has to save face and do it? Because remember last year, the NFLPA said, "Hey, quit practicing." And Tom Brady said something like, "There's nothing to fear but fear yourself." I went out and kept practicing at Berkeley Prep. Is he just having to save face and be off-season Tom Brady? Like, why? Tell me the reason why he's not at Advent Health Training Center. At least not even protecting him, protecting these guys that, don't have a bazillionaire wife, haven't made $1 bazillion, and their future on the roster is isn't set. Like there's no guarantee. Like some of those guys that are out there are going to make the team.
Mm-hmm. I can only think of one thing that would be a reason why you would not have your practices in the facility, and that is that there has got to be someone that he can have at Steinbrenner Field that he can't have at the facility. Who? And there's only one from Alex Guerrero.
I thought the Bucs allows him on the property all the time. I thought that was kind of like a selling point, like Alex.
And someone associated with Alex Guerrero and TB12 that they have not gotten cleared, because if Guerrero is cleared, there should be no.
From what I think I've heard, like I can't really. I don't want to sit here and say the Bucs have cleared him, but I do remember those conversations coming up, and the Bucs were like, "Yeah, bring whoever you want." Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Guerrero has his own office in Advent Health Training Center. I'm serious.
It's on they've got a TB12 kiosk inside the building.
Well, right. I mean, when Scotty Miller, speaking of Scotty Miller, who was at, the Yankees facility, who really can't afford to get injured. He was on Pewter Report's podcast a few months ago. And, he had hamstring problems his first 2 years. Like, he missed the first half of the season his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he missed the second half of the season, or somewhere in the latter half. Yeah, the second half. Last 4 games of his second year because of hamstring problems.
Yeah.
And on that podcast, he credited being on the TB12 method and he didn't have any hamstring problems this year. And I will say that when Coach Loke and the full-time coach, the trainer, the other female, I don't know her name, but she's very impressive physically. Like, she's over 6 feet, and there's like not an ounce of body fat on her, and walks around in yoga pants all the time. And I was talking to her.
Shoot, I would too.
Right? I mean, she's a very good looking person. And I was talking to her, and I brought that subject up, and she almost shut me down immediately. Like it was just like a little it was at a flag football competition out there at the outskirts of Tampa or something at some sports complex. And I knew Coach Loke was going to be there. I knew she was going to be there. So I just wanted, get some sound from them, say hi to Casey Phillips. She was there. When I started asking her, like 2 years ago, there's a lot of hamstring problems with Chris Godwin and Scotty Miller, and with the data you get, like where does the data come from that helps you? Because you did great this year about preventing it. And this is before the Scotty Miller interview on Pewter Report. And she was kind of like, and very like coaches speak, which, was first off amazing. She was that good at it, but she was sort of like talking me around in circles, and I was trying to nail her down. Then Coach Loke came over and said hi, and I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm Ren," and then there was just a brief pause, and they're both like, "Okay, we'll see ya," and I was like, "Oh, damn it!" But but I was all that to say that that Scotty Miller, sort of had his hamstrings fixed, or at least not hurt, or at least he believes that the TB12 method he followed helped him more than the 2 years in the strength and conditioning program at the Buccaneers. So maybe your theory of having someone there that haven't been cleared, but when there's that much at stake, there's really millions of dollars at stake. When you clump it all together, there might be $100 million. Maybe not. Godwin, nah. $50 million easy. So there's $50 million at stake. Like, that's more of a like ask forgiveness, not permission. Don't you think? Like, okay, Joe Blow or Sally Joe isn't cleared, and just bring her anyway. The coaches can't come out there to tell them to go away because they can't come out there. It's part of the deal. Because once the coach comes out there and approaches him, it becomes practice, and they can't do that. So I don't understand why Tom is taking his receivers, tight ends, running backs, careers in his hands just for hubris. Like, I don't get it, and I don't like it.
And you shouldn't like it, because that's exactly what this is. As much as we like Tom Brady, to me, it sounds like it is. That's exactly what it is. It is hubris. There is something that Tom Brady can't do inside the facility that he is allowed to do when he's at Steinbrenner Field. And so it has to do something with it. To me, it has to be something to do with TB12. Either the folks that he has working for TB12 aren't allowed to tape there. He's able to get his own tape that he can put together for highlights for his website or for his Twitter feed or something that has to do with TB12 that he is not allowed to do inside the Advent Health Training Center for some reason. It's the only thing he can think. It's the only thing I can think of.
Why? Or he's just being stubborn. He's just being stubborn because he went out on a limb just a few weeks earlier saying we shouldn't have to report. And now you're going to the place that said that you just basically said, I'm not going to show up to. But it's different. I get it. Because you're not showing up for actual organized activities.
But why?
Is it that stupid? I know it's stupid, but
of course it is stupid.
But is it that simple? Is it like Tom Brady is just like, man, I'm not going because I said I wasn't going to go?
I think it almost is that simple. The question that I have is if Tom Brady is such a good teammate and he understands that if these guys hurt themselves at Steinbrenner Field,
twist their ankle on our sprinkler head.
Yeah. Or a non-con tries to make you try to make a cut on the field and you blow your ACL out. That's a non-con, most ACLs are non-contact injuries.
Yeah.
So if that happens and all of a sudden let's just use let's use Cameron Brate for an example.
Sure.
Okay. Cam Brate goes to make a cut, blows out his ACL, he's done.
Yeah.
The team can put him on the NFI list and now he's not going to get paid.
Right. Yeah.
If Tom Brady is that good of a teammate, why is he Why is he forcing? And you can't tell me that Tom Brady isn't telling these guys, come out to Steinbrenner Field. I need you at Steinbrenner Field.
Right.
Why the hell?
Tom Brady's your quarterback. He says, "Come on, we're gonna go throw. You go."
Yes.
You go.
Why the hell is Tom doing this to his teammates then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing. That's what I'm mad about. Like, why is he putting him in the position to choose between saying, no, I'm not going to work out with you, don't hold it against me, even though everyone knows that he is.
Because you're making $25 million and I'm making $3 million.
Right. And you've made $150 million and I've made 20.
And your wife makes $150 million a year.
Right. Yeah. So exactly. And the whole thing just kind of stinks. And I'm a little disappointed that, there hasn't been more follow-up on about the media. But I think one thing is it's because they haven't, they're all sort of holding their breath for access this year.
Yeah.
Like they all want to be able to get back in the locker room. They all want to be able to have those one-on-one side conversations. And I agree that it would, that you'd get better stories, because right now everybody's a pool reporter.
Yep.
Everyone hears everyone hears the same questions and everyone hears the same answers. So, basically they're all sharing the same information. So there's no sort of going off on the side and catching someone somewhere and having a private one-on-one and then having that maybe evolve into something else or not. It could be simple as that conversation, or, and it might not even come out till a year later or 6 months later. Like, oh, I remember Donovan Smith in training camp. He told me about the exact same thing that we saw in week 8 against the Saints.
Yep.
So I get it, but I mean, can you report scared? And I'm not even really saying that's what they're doing, but something like this steamed me. This made me mad because it's someone in power putting people with less power into a position to do something they pop by that's not in their best interest. It's actually against their best interest, and you're doing it because they're not going to say no. It's like when your boss asks you to, hey, I need you to come in and work. Can you stay late because blah 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 is sick?
Yeah. Can you come in? Can you come in early?
Yeah.
Can you work Saturday?
Yeah. And none of that stuff ever pans out for you, by the way. So just say no. No. I can't do it, boss. Sorry.
No, I mean, I get exactly where you're going with that, because it has, like I said, it has to be something that Brady can't, and it's all in Tom's interest.
Yeah.
It's not
but you keep saying it has to be something. I don't think it does. I hope that's what it is. I hope it's something like Alex Guerrero can't be there, or we have maybe, don't tell anybody, but we rub Tom's arm down with some steroid that's illegal, but by the time he gets drug tested, it's out of his system. But we don't want anybody at a $1 place or Advent Health Training Center. So we just want to do it off property. Even if it's skeezy like that, I can understand. But for the life of me, the simplest reason is usually the right the reason, or the simplest answer is usually the correct answer, which is that he just doesn't want to go over there.
Yeah.
And there's,
I mean, that's the simple answer. But the other thing is, I've always found in the world of professional sports that it's always about money. It's always about money in some way, shape, or form.
Which makes it more baffling.
So,
because these guys are putting a lot of money on the line.
Tom's not.
Well, he is. He's putting 25. Well, yeah. If he hurts himself, they're not going to cut him, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're not. And if Chris Godwin hurts himself, they're not going to cut him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Gio maybe. He really doesn't have a history with the team. I don't know if they cut Braid or not. They definitely cut Justin Watson. It frees up a problem for them. It's just the problem will fix itself. About Justin Watson making the team and having you cut a core special teamer. Look how bad our special teams are. That kind of crap that might pop up and be like, well, he hurt himself off campus. So what do you want us to do? Yeah, so I don't think they'd cut everybody, but you're right. Definitely Tom. Yeah, Tom's not at risk. Only thing that risks for Tom is time.
Yeah,
but he can. It doesn't matter if he blows his knee out at Steinbrenner Field or at One Buccaneer Place, Advent Health Trading Center. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything for him. No. It just changes a lot for everybody else.
Yeah. I like you were saying, I don't get it. I really don't.
I mean, get it. And I don't get why no one's asking.
It's not like,
well, actually, that's not fair. They asked BA like 3 times, like yesterday or 2 days ago. And BA was just like, yeah, I've asked him. Hopefully they change their mind. Hopefully they will come here. I do know that, but and I couldn't hear the questions because this is what stinks about them being back on the field when they hold the scrums after practice, and the head coach is there, and they just show the head coach, and you hear everything
and
BA
everybody
says,
else is yelling,
but everybody you can't hear what the reporters are saying. It's like listening to one side of a phone conversation.
Well, and that's why I like the when things are when they're inside.
Yeah.
When they're in the room,
directional mic.
Yeah, they've got the shotgun mic.
Yeah, the shot. Yes, thank you. Yeah,
that allows you to hear the reporters' questions, but they don't have that for outside because it's too much of a hassle to set up. You actually need an extra input other than just the one microphone. You would need a second input, and they don't have that when they're outside. So
right.
It does suck that it really is difficult to hear those reporters' comments on our YouTube stream here. Bucks Time 12. Hopefully Brady gets back into the normal swing of things after OTAs. He's skipped OTAs for a couple years already, so I guess that it's just going to be his thing.
Yeah, I don't care if he comes to the OTAs or not. I don't. My whole problem is that he's putting his teammates' possible future in jeopardy by not just walking across the street, almost literally, to throw passes at a better field that's set up identical to slope, grain, type of grass than their home stadium field. I mean, there's 3 fields that are identical.
And they're going to they've got locker rooms. You've got your state-of-the-art locker rooms,
your showers,
your training staff, your massage people. Yeah. Those guys are all there, and they're gonna and if Tom said, "Hey, we're gonna come in at 6:30 in the morning and be done by 8:30," and that way you can go have breakfast afterwards. Those massage guys, those trainers, they'd be there. They would be there. They would sleep there at night. It's only for 3 days.
No sacrifice is too great for the team.
Exactly.
I wouldn't sleep there for 2 days. I'd be there at 8:30. And then if anybody walks in the room and no one walks in the room by 8:40, I'm gone.
Adios.
Adios. I'm here for 10 minutes. Doesn't take 10 minutes to walk off the practice field into my massage parlor.
AMF.
Oh. AMF.
Adios, mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah. AMF.
That's a big dog thing. He used to say that all the time when he was going on vacation. He'd be like, and after day, it's AMF. But some of the things that they might end up having to talk about, and really, because there are 2 changes this year for the NFL as we go.
Let's move on.
One of the things that those players, because there's one thing that's changed that's going to take place on the field, one thing that's going to change that's taking place off the field. On the field, they're expanding the rule for below the waist blocking,
right?
And that is now going to also be expanded to kicking plays, so punts, kickoffs, free kicks, I guess. Those, although those normally don't happen very often, but mostly for punt plays and for kickoff plays, and also on change of possession plays. Now that could be right. That's not quite as important as when Jameis Winston was here, but you still have times where there are change of possessions, and so those blocking below the waist rules are now going to apply for those types of plays as well.
Yeah, it's a good rule. No one's really gonna even notice it. It's really kind of protect the interior offensive lineman on the change of possession, because like DBs or even deep, like say we're playing the Texans in I shouldn't have picked the Texans. Who knows? Deshaun Watson's going to be quarterbacks. They were playing the Lions and Goff.
Yeah, I was going to say
Goff throws a pick.
Carson Wentz.
Okay, and then Goff throws a pick. Samuel Burton running it back, and Vive looks up, and he has a guard trying to run away from him, but he has a chance to like dive at his feet and maybe clip his the side of his knee a little bit. Not that he's trying to hurt him, but he's trying to stop him from getting the angle on Sean Murphy Bunting. Now he can't do it. It's really to protect those big ugly guys because they're such fish out of water when there's a quick change of position. I mean, they really are. It's like if you ask a fish to climb a tree, he's going to look pretty stupid. And so, like asking an offensive lineman basically to cover a punt, like it just doesn't. Yeah, it don't look good.
It's like asking me to cover a punt
or me.
Yeah,
from the inside, I can do it from the outside.
Yeah, it's like asking me to cover from the outside.
Yeah, they push me out of bounds. I'd be like, oh, can't go back in.
Oh no,
run. Oh no, it's over.
Stop. Play's over. So, yeah. The other change.
AMF.
The AMF. The other change comes from, or it's not really much a change, but it's a change back because they're changing back roster cuts as we get ready for the regular season. Because last year for the pandemic, the teams were able to keep 90 players all the way until the end of training camp. At the a week before the regular season was when they made the cuts. 8 days before they made cuts. Now this year they're going to go back to the 3-tiered system. So there's going to be 3 rounds of cuts. There will be a first round of cuts after the first game where you go from 90 to 85. That I believe is on the 10th of August, and then on the 17th. They go from 85 to 80. And then on the 24th, you end up going from 80 all the way down to 53. And so that gives the Bucks have 9 days to get ready to get down to, or to prepare with that 53. And everybody else gets 12 because the Bucks, of course, start 3 days early.
Right. Thursday Night Football, playing Dallas Cowboys.
That's right. At Raymond James Stadium on NBC.
So a little return to normalcy, I guess. I mean, coaches really liked the expanded roster late because of the last preseason game, which is normally the 4th preseason game. They like to say, quote unquote, it's the bottom of the roster guys. It's really not. It's they need those guys to eat up time and plays so they can get to the regular season without any of their starters getting hurt. So
but to me, it's not that big of a deal because instead of having 90 guys they're going to have 80.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. That's what was going to be my point was that, I mean, it's not the 90 that it was, but 80 is more than I think it was down to like 74 or no, I think it was like 72. Or maybe it was even in the high 60s. Like that last game was sort of was the gut-wrenching decision was who to play. That is going to make the team, but you can afford if they get injured a little bit. Like that was the real big decision in the 4th game. Now with having, like you said, 80 guys, there'll still be plenty, of things go around. But this year, it's going to be really interesting because we talked heavily about how the 3rd day of the Bucs draft was all for, special teams, and then they went out and signed like Joe Johnson, who's like career special teamer, a really good one. Raven, is it Raven Steele? What is that guy's name from the Packers? He's got like a video hero's name. It's Raven something or something Raven. I'm going to call him Raven Steele. Then they brought in like Hamilton, who played a lot of special teams for the Chiefs last year, and then they got some guys that, were starting safeties for the Giants like 2 years ago, played all 16 games, had 4 picks. So they're really bolstering that, who also play a lot of special teams. They're really bolstering that special teams roster. So I think, today there was a press conference with, oh God, what's the special teams?
You're talking about Keith Armstrong?
Thank you. Keith Armstrong. And the question was like, Ryan Smith is gone. He's been your sort of number one plus uno guy, gunner guy for the past few seasons. Who do you envision replacing him? He named like 7 guys. And those were all the guys I talked about. Like he talked about, of course, the draft pick Hamilton, but he talked about him late. Not Hamilton. What was the draft pick's name? Doesn't matter. But then he talked about Raven, and he talked about 5, 6, 7 guys that so far has piqued his interest that could take that gunner spot. And he said like you cannot know who's going to be the best at it till you have those live reps. So, the roster's stacked. It's going to be pretty boring preseason, except to watch Kyle Trask throw the ball around. But if you want to know who's going to be that last safety or that last corner or that last, wide receiver, you got to look who plays the best, because it's not set in stone how many each will play. The outside linebackers coach was in a Zoom call today, and he says he's already lobbying for 5 outside linebackers, edge rushers. He wants, of course, it's going to be Shaq, and it's going to be JPP, and it's going to be Tryon, and it's going to be Anthony Nelson, but he's already lobbying for Gill. Like he thinks Gill can have some juice and can play.
Well, and Cam Gill had half a sack in the Super Bowl, for crying out loud.
Yeah, obviously.
Exactly. Obviously, everybody's going to be lobbying for that one extra guy to be in there.
But you got it. But it's got, it's coming on. Especially, it's going to come in a gunner spot. It's going to come on, something. It's going to be something like that, or who, the first guy, the last guy back protecting the punter on punting situations, or. It's really, that's what I'm looking forward to, of course, to see Kyle Trask, see how he adapts to the speed of a pro game and pro players, see if his arm strength can hold up on the outside throws, obviously. But is who, like, they're going to be rotated. So don't get all like, oh, this is the very first punt. Look who's, on the gunner spot. There's your 5th corner, or there's your 5th. No. Like they're going to keep rotating them and rotating and rotating. And you got to kind of keep track of who does the best, which also kind of stinks because, if your punter does a good job, they're not supposed to return any. So basically it's like who gets down there the fastest, who can beat the double team. It's not really going to be anything you can really watch or be like, oh, big hit, he's in the lead. It's going to be like who stayed in bounds when 2 guys are trying to push him out of bounds, it's
going to be about spatial awareness. Guys know where the boundaries are. Guys know where the end zone is. For when they try to drop the punts inside the 5. There's going to be a lot of that. That's going to be
it's going to be everything that you think it's not, or the stuff that you think is going to make the team. That's probably the least of the factors in it, which is like the big hits or how many tackles you got.
Not only that, I think it's going to start earlier in the preseason as well, because there's only 3 games. You can't dilly dally around with special teams. You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out starting from the very first kickoff,
from the jump, son. Exactly. Do you think the Bucs are going to go 3 and out on purpose? A lot. Like, is there going to be like a quarter where they're like, we're not going to try to score this quarter or this half? Like, listen, we're just going to run the ball in the middle 3 times because we want to see we want to get as many punt coverages in this game as we can.
I could see Tom doing that.
Tom's not playing. You got to tell Kraft. It's Trask handing off to like Pope.
No, Tom will, I bet you Tom.
They're not going to waste reps of Tom Brady trying to punt the ball.
Tom's going to play first half in the second game. So,
well, first off, Tom's like taking snaps over at Steinbrenner Field, and he's lobbying for the whole game to be switched over there. So Guerrero can give him his antibiotic miracle cream on his arm. None of that's true. Do not repeat that. None of that's. Well, you can repeat it, but none of it's true. I retract. Full page retraction, front page retraction from Ren.
That was Ren Daxt from the Pewtercast that said that.
Yeah.
Hey. No, but I mean, you certainly aren't going to want to have Kyle Trask go 3 and out on purpose.
Well, yeah. Well, RG4 ain't getting no snaps.
Well, or if he's even still on the team, that point.
He's not.
Blaine Gabbert goes 3 and out.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Like
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is,
second quarter of game 1. Like, here, Tom's played like the first the first possession.
I'm saying it's like the Bucks go, hey, the second half of game 1, or the second half of game 2, or maybe all of game 3. But second half of game 2,
that's more likely.
Like, I would not mind as a fan that the team tank trying to get first downs to get as many punts to sort of sift through these gunners, because I've seen enough training camp practices. Like, I've seen now, in the amount of people in the Tampa Bay area, I'm probably in the 99th percentile of how many training camp practices I've seen. Now, for people that do it for a living, including yourself at one point, of course, Stroud, and all the guys from Pewter Report, Joe Buxley, like
you would be surprised how many training camp practices I've seen over the years.
They smoke me. I'm saying, like, they see way more than me, but I have seen more than 99% of people in the Tampa Bay area.
I guarantee you've seen more than me.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
Because I did baseball for 12 years.
Okay.
So,
okay. It's all right.
I've and it's hot. Like,
Connie, it doesn't matter.
I always laughed. I always told my boss I never wanted to do training camp. And he was like, why? I'm like, because it's hot and I'm fat and I wear black.
Okay. Back to my story. The point is that in training camp, like, you can get almost absolutely nothing from the special teams punt period. Like, seriously.
No.
Like, it's like it's all walkthrough. 80% of it is walkthrough. They do live about, I don't know, I guess the other 20% of the time. And then of that 20% of the time, they're actually running full speed. They don't even let guys get close enough to two-hand touch the guy receiving the ball. Mm-hmm. And then maybe there's no tackling to the ground during that at all. So, from what you can really glean out of training camp, from punt coverage, kickoff coverage, and that type of thing is minimal. So you really need those preseason games. So, like I said, as a fan, I wouldn't mind the Bucks tanking certain portions of the game to be able to see how many get as many punts in as they can. The end.
That's what game 3 is for.
Sure.
Hey, we talked a little bit about Tom being over at Steinbrenner Field, but Tom's going to be somewhere else here in the month of July, and he has already started the trash talking about this, which I think is absolutely hilarious. I want to talk about this when we come back next on the Petercast. Again, the Petercast is part of the Fansided Network. You can go to fansided.com and learn more about them, and of course the Bucks podcast, which you can find here. The Petercast is over there at fansided.com, along with all the other places where you can find podcasts. Ren,
yes.
Tom Brady has become the biggest. Well, I mean, Tom Brady. We've all known that Tom Brady is a big trash talker.
Yes,
yeah, that's not a surprise to anybody that knows anything about the NFL. But what has happened over the last 18 months or so, well, maybe a little less than that, 15 months or so, since he came to Tampa Bay last March.
Right,
he has become a social media hound. And he has really, I think, done, or whoever is running his social media.
Yeah. How many of these do you think he is actually him?
I think the videos he knows about.
Right.
I'm not sure how much of the non-videos that he's done with him in the video.
Right.
Like, I guarantee.
But what about the tweets? Like, the tweets, like, do you think that's him tweeting, like sitting on the couch?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Do you think he even looks at him or clears them? Or he just like, I've hired this person. I've told them the tone I want. You kind of know my sense of humor and what my brand's about. Like, I won't even talk to you. I don't care. Like, you do it. And if there becomes a problem, then we'll have a conversation.
It's a good question, because I know somebody
I'm too busy getting my arm rubbed. Sorry, go ahead. It is a good question.
It is a good question. I should probably reach out to the person that I know that used to run Rob Gronkowski's social media account.
Oh, really?
Gronk
doesn't do that himself. Well, if Gronk doesn't do it, Brady sure do it.
Sure as hell does it. But I just think that whoever is running that account now has become a real trash talker.
Oh, he's
online as well. Real troll. They are trolly. Because they put out now it was on Tuesday, I believe,
right,
a meme of involving I guess it was the PGA Championship the weekend that took place the weekend before, and it mentioned Aaron Rodgers and the Packers deciding to kick a field goal when down 7.
Yes.
And this is, I guess, all about an upcoming matchup that will pit Tom Brady against Aaron Rodgers, but not on the football field.
Right. Yeah. Well, the news is, and if you pay attention to the social media and you're a Bucs fan, you're watching this show, so you probably already know it's Aaron Rodgers and Phil Mickelson, who just won the PGA Championship at age 60, 50.
Yeah, it's the other way around. It's Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau, who is one of the young up and coming.
It's the other way around.
And it's Tom and Phil.
That's what I said.
No, you said Aaron Rodgers and Phil.
Oh, okay. I apologize. You're like, it's the other way around. I'm like, I thought I said Tom and Phil. And you're like, no, it's the other way around. It's Aaron and Chambeau. And I'm like, how is that the like?
No,
you said six the other. I'm like,
no, you said Aaron and Phil.
Okay, so much
Tom.
Like last year. Yes, I got you. Much like last year, it was Peyton Manning versus Tom, and Tom had Phil Mickelson on his side, and Peyton Manning had Tiger, and they went and had this, 4-man scramble type of thing in front of the cameras, and everybody watched, and Tom split his pants, and then, hit like a birdie 180 yards out with backspin and sunk it right in Charles Barkley's face, pretty much. Not in his face. They were talking, and he was giving him crap, and Tom sunk it. It was like, he's like, I'm busy winning championships, something you wouldn't know anything about.
Which was great.
Yeah, well, that was awesome. Like, that's like Charles Barkley really can't talk crap to any professional athlete, because it's just like, it's like, I won the 100-meter dash when I was 10. What have you ever won? Like, so it doesn't work. So anyway, now they're doing it again. Like Carney said, it's Brady and Mickelson again. But they're bringing in Aaron Rodgers, and who's the other guy? Mr. Butterworth?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Bryson DeChambeau, Mr. Bojangles.
Yeah, he's in his mid-20s. He is like the analytics guy for golf.
Oh, that's right. Like he's putting all this weight, and he's doing launch angles, and he's trying to revolutionize the way golfers approach the way they play golf.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he will be on Aaron Rodgers' side. And so the trash talking has already started for July 6th. And I like it because it's, long before any sort of training camp. There's nothing going on. They're going to be out there enjoying themselves. I believe it's going to be here in Florida.
No, it's in Montana.
Is it in Montana? Oh,
yeah.
My God.
Big Sky Country.
Why the hell are you going there? Go play at Seminole.
Because if you go to Montana, like, no one's going to be there. Go play Seminole. Go play Twin Brooks. Just go play the par 3.
Or go play TPC. Go play the TPC at Ponte Vedra. Or
hey, man, these things are all figured out long in advance. Yeah, it's in Montana. You weren't gonna go or get to see it. What do you like? What do you care where it is? It could be in freaking Russia. You're gonna be just as close. You're gonna be 6 feet from your TV, no matter where they play.
I'm definitely.
Why are y'all butthurt that they're not playing it locally?
Just well, I mean, Seminole Country Club's not local, but it's not
in Florida.
Area, but it's in Florida. Just because I like it. I like when they showcase Florida.
Okay,
I mean, we live here.
We do.
Facts. So, but I'll tell you someone who might not be living where he's been for the last number of years is Julio Jones after what happened this past week. And this is kind of an interesting scenario that's happened because Julio Jones went on Shannon Sharp's radio show and talked about wanting out in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't hear it live, but the whole story is that he didn't know that he was live on the air when he was talking with Shannon Sharp about not wanting to be in Atlanta anymore.
Yeah, and Shannon Sharp didn't tell him he was, and that was kind of the whole stink of it. And who cares? Like, honestly, it could be a setup. It could not have been a setup. It could have been a way out of because Julio Jones basically says, yes, I'm done in Atlanta. And then it comes out that he asked for a trade like last year. Who knows? I really don't care if he was told or not told or didn't know he was live or don't know he's live, because everybody lies about this kind of crap to make their, trying to save face and get the information they want out there with offending the least amount of people so they can look like they're on the right side. It doesn't matter. Julio Jones asked for a trade from Atlanta last year. Where's he going to land? That's the question.
Tennessee. Tennessee's pushing for him.
Tennessee needs him. They lost Corey Davis.
I saw AJ Brown pushing for it. Derrick Henry was pushing for it for Julio Jones. I'll tell you who should be doing backflips if Julio Jones goes to Tennessee. Todd Bowles should be doing backflips because Julio Jones just burns the Buccaneers twice a year, even when he's doing horrible. Like
I don't think that Julio has burnt Bowles.
He's burned the Bucs offense.
All the time. He crushed Mike Smith. I mean, just absolutely crushed him. But a lot of that you can say can due to injury. I think Bowles held him pretty much in check. But what would you give up for like a 30? What is he? 32 now? 31, yeah. 32? I think he's 32-year-old now. Like the past couple of years, he hasn't been able to stay on the field. Off injured, non-TB12 hamstring method.
Yep.
Obviously, having Julio Jones, what would you give up? I mean,
I'll tell you what I wouldn't give up.
Okay.
I wouldn't give up a first-round pick like Atlanta wants.
Okay.
That's apparently what Atlanta was holding, because apparently they had gotten offers for second-round picks, and they said, no, we want a first-round pick. In which I would be telling Rich McKay and the folks in Atlanta to go piss up a flagpole, because you ain't getting a first-round pick out of my ass for a beat-up wide receiver that is on his way down.
Who just got a first-rounder? Who just got traded? I know, because it's like Hopkins got traded from the Texans for like a second, and everyone's like, "What? Okay, I guess that's the market." And then like just a handful of weeks later, another receiver who's not Hopkins, it's a tier 1 wide receiver, but then he goes for a 1, and everyone went, "Okay, I kind of get it." But you're saying. And I'm sure it's because he's not in his prime anymore. He's kind of coming off, a couple of seasons where he's been injured and banged up a little bit. His hammies are suspect. You wouldn't give a first round for Julio Jones?
Nope.
No? What would you, 2?
I'd give it 2.
You give it 2?
Yeah, I would do it 2. I do it 2 almost all day.
I don't know if I'd want to give it 2. I'd probably give it 2 because whatever team you're on, he instantly makes your quarterback better. He instantly makes that wide receiver room better, and he instantly makes, and by I mean the wide receiver, your other wide receivers automatically become better because now they sort of get pushed down the rung. Your wide receiver that was, getting followed by cornerback number 1 is now getting followed by cornerback number 2, and your second wide receiver was getting followed by cornerback number 2 is now getting covered by the slot. And now your slot guy is getting covered by a linebacker. So when you take all that into it, I could probably swallow it 2. I just, Julio is one of those guys that I think has all the talent in the world. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of like if OJ Howard stays on this trajectory of what, sort of like the same sort of MO that he's had these first 3 seasons with the Buccaneers, or 4 now, 4 seasons with the Buccaneers, that I kind of feel that's what Julio Jones is. Like, he has all the talent in the world, and he has some of these spectacular, he's had seasons, but some of these huge games. But in the end, I just feel like he's. But when push comes to shove and rubber meets the road, I just feel like Julio Jones is never there. Like he's on the bench, or they pull him out of the game. I've seen him it's like 3rd and 13. This is the ball game, and Julio Jones is on the bench.
Yep. There's Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. It's just really weird. So, I'm never gonna deny his talent because it's obvious. But yeah, it just I couldn't. I don't know if I'd even give up a 2, but that could just me being a Bucs fan and having to watch Julio Jones. His early years really beat the living crap out of us, almost single-handedly beating us. I mean, what was that one game he had like 2 TDs and went for 225, and Mike Smith
he had 2 touchdowns all year.
Yeah. And Mike Smith's like, we played like 18 coverages on him, and I'm like, well, what was the 19th? And then they asked Julio, and he's like, no, they played quarters all game. Like okay, one of you's lying.
And I think we know the answer to that question. Looking at ProFootballReference.com, the only wide receiver that was traded for a first-round pick since 2013 was Brandon Cooks, and he got traded twice for first-round picks.
Yeah, he did. No, there was some. Okay, I'm not going to argue with ProFootballReference.com, but I can almost swear there was that after D-Hop got traded, and that was kind of like the last nail in the coffin for what's his name in Texas. It was like
Bill O'Brien.
It was like, yeah, well, they got, first off, why are you trading to not, Hopkins? And he only got a 2 for him. Like, what's going on? And then like a few weeks later, like Minnesota got something for, obviously it was Minnesota. Minnesota got something for, like Adam Thielen went for a 1, but Pro Football Reference says no. So
yeah, this is wide receiver trades involving first-round picks since 2000. So the last one they have is April of 2018.
Maybe it was a second rounder, and it wasn't like someone in D-Hop's stratosphere. Maybe it was something like that.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks was traded from New Orleans to New England for a first-round pick, and then New England traded him to the Rams for a first-round pick.
Yeah, the guy did nothing wrong. Like, yeah, it was like his rookie year, like, no, you're traded first-round pick. And New England's like, oh, we take him. And they're like, yeah, no. And it's like, what is wrong with this guy?
It is too funny. But yeah, I think that, just getting Julio Jones out of the NFC South will probably make Bucs fans excited because they're like, oh, great, we don't have to deal with Julio Jones, but they'll just have to deal with Pitts now.
Yeah.
So, that's part of the deal here is that they've got to deal with Kyle Pitts.
Well, Pitts ain't outrunning Devin White.
No.
4.37 on concrete with sneakers. Give me a break, man. I don't have the shoes probably weren't even tied. That was crazy. At 250. Did you see any total, like weight adjusted totals for that? I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. I bet he would have came in first at weight adjusted totals.
Lucky.
Because they do that for the combine, sort of like compare players and stuff, But yeah. 4.37 and an off-ball linebacker at 250. That's crazy. That's he's a freak athlete. 4.37 in sneakers with his hat. He's wearing a hat backwards. Still wearing like he just stepped out of the car. He was on like it looked like an old dumpy high school in Louisiana, and he was running down like the pole vaulting track that they laid there in 1962 and hasn't been resurfaced since. And they had 2 sticks, like 2 stakes that you get from Home Depot, to try to straighten your tree out. Yeah, with a little like one of the tree ribbons around it. And it's like, these guys are on their field and they got cleats on, and here comes Devin White, like doo.
Here we go.
4.37. Like,
I think
was he wearing a jacket?
He's wearing a cape, because if he had gone, it's a good thing they only did 40 yards. If he did 60, he might have taken to the sky.
4.37. That is
isn't there a story like one time that Bo Jackson did something like that? He just got out and like didn't even stretch, and like 4.31. Like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, probably.
I think I remember that story. Like Bo showed up like 5 minutes before and was like, okay, here we go. Boom. And he like ran once and everybody's like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, oh, I'm going off to play baseball.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it was. It was in between innings, and he came down, took his baseball jersey off, ran, and then put his baseball jersey back on and went back to the ball field. I'm gonna go play.
I don't think that's true.
There is a story out there. And I want to say it's Bo.
I remember Peekaboo Street in the Olympics was like super late. Like she woke up super late and basically got dressed, got to the hill. By the time she got top of the hill, she was like next in line, and then went and won the gold medal.
Yeah. I've heard that. I remember hearing that one. I want to say there is a workout story involving Bo Jackson, like him just showing up and blowing people away.
Probably. Yeah.
So, but
I agree with it. Anyway, I don't know how we got stuck on Devin White.
No, you know, because we were talking about him having to cover KP.
Oh, yeah. And he will.
And we won't have to worry about Julio Jones anymore, Bucks.
Yeah. Double Calvin, put Devin on KP, and I don't know.
Good to go.
Yeah. Who's a running back now? Gurley's gone.
Isn't like Ito Smith? Like are they gonna go
Smith
like
still kicking around?
They're gonna go with like Ito Smith.
Didn't they draft somebody?
Brian Hall.
I don't know. So, anyway.
Yeah, we'll worry about the Falcons when it's time to play the Falcons. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So
let's we got anything else?
I got nothing else. What do you got?
Really? No, I don't know. I don't have the list anymore. I gave it up to you. Was that it? We did the blocking. Oh, AB signed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everyone knows.
We knew that.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
AB
we talked about that for
a
month.
Yes, the whole everyone getting up in arms about why isn't AB signed? Oh my god.
Relax, people.
Yeah. He passed the physical. He's there. So yeah, man, they're locked and loaded and ready to go. I guess it's another few weeks or maybe a month till the next OTAs or mini camp before we see these guys again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
figure about this time next month they'll be doing another the mandatory mini camp and then training camp at the end of July.
Yeah. That's it, man. So if you're listening to this or watching this is the time of year where we will start reaching out to Saints pods or Saints, beat writers and things like that, and of course Panthers and Falcons to see where they're at. And then we haven't really decided if we're gonna do like a preseason thing, kind of do that a week at a time during the season. But definitely that's what's coming up during this low period is we're gonna check in with all the NFC South opponents and see what the beat writers and podcasters where they think they are. And where their holes are and what's been filled. Basically, everything that's gone on since the end of the season for the Buccaneers, see what's happened with the Panthers, Falcons, and Saints. Yeah, and so that'll be coming up here starting very, very soon, whether that's next week or the week after. We'll figure it out. Let's fly by the seat of our pants here. All right, let's bounce out of here, Ren. Yeah. How can people find you on the Ren Addiction? The best place to find me is on Twitter at the Pewtercast. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football. But if you don't want to send your tweet out there because it's too hot, feel free to slide in my DMs and we can talk about Buccaneers football there as well too. Just kicked something underneath my table. I don't know. Was it Smokey? No. Was it Smokey's crack pipe? No, it was not. It did not feel like something that was alive. Like I've got a toolbox under here. Did you just kick a hole through your PS5? No, that's over there. That's far enough away that I don't have to deal with it. You can follow me on social media at Steve Carney. Check out stpete9.com for Rays talk and whatnot. Rays are doing well. How are the Rays doing? Oh, friggin' fantastic. Yeah. 13 wins in the last 14 games. They're now a full game up on the Red Sox. It was that damn Yoshi guy, man. Yeah, it's that damn Yoshi guy. Who, by the way, ain't hitting in LA either. So would Yoshi be the Vernon Hargraves of the Rays?
He would be the Sabby Piscatelli of the Rays.
What? Why? I remember Sabby Piscatelli, but when Sabby Piscatelli left, the Bucks didn't get any better. As soon as they jettisoned Hargraves, the defense started to improve dramatically.
I was just going to say that much like Yoshi, Sabby couldn't deal with any speed either. Couldn't deal with velocity.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He always saw the back of it. Always saw the back of Sabby's jersey, and that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
With
another
Yoshi.
tackle by Sabby Piscatelli after a 12-yard game. Yeah.
Good
Him and Parrot Rude. Lead the team in tackles. Yes.
Right.
The other team rushed for 230 yards. Good job, guys.
Great job. So you can find me at Steve Carney and again stpete9.com. But that'll do it here. Make sure you subscribe to the Pewtercast wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Of course, hit up the pewtercast.com, pewtercast.live as well. And until next time, are you ready?
I am.
Are you ready?
I am.
Go buck yourself.